Hi, my name is Raquel Baldelomar, corporate wellness and work-life balance journalist at Forbes, and I am here today with Maria Shriver, former First Lady of California and a fierce advocate for families struggling with Alzheimer's. Maria started the Women's Alzheimer Movement, and thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
And she
nice
also
to see you.
started this organization, why we're here today. She started this women's conference at Brentwood School. It's Our Turn. This is in its 4th year?
Yeah, so the young girls actually who were here at Brentwood at the time started it. They came down to the women's conference that I was doing while I was First Lady, and they were very inspired and energized by it and talked to me about starting their own version of it. And so I helped them the first year, but now they kind of do it on their own every other year. They bring young women from all across Los Angeles. They have 1,000 women here today. They bring people together to inspire them, to talk about the path ahead, to talk about legacy, to talk about balance, to talk about what it means to be a woman, a young woman, going off to school, going into the workplace. So I'm incredibly proud of the young women who are putting it on this year and the legacy that the young women who initially started it have left for other young women to take it upon themselves and move it forward.
Maria, tell me about the Women's Alzheimer's Movement.
So the Women's Alzheimer's Movement was started with the sole purpose of trying to answer why 2/3 of all the brains being diagnosed today with Alzheimer's belong to women. Most women aren't aware of that fact, and so my work in the Alzheimer's space started when my father was diagnosed in 2003. He died in 2011 of the disease. So for 14 years I've kind of been trudging on what I call the front lines of this disease, trying to get more federal funding for it, trying to answer this question as to why women are getting this disease at double the rate, and what is going on in their bodies that's different from men, and what can we study in their brains to learn how we can help all minds. And it's also to try to help people, particularly women are 2/3 of all the caregivers in this country, and usually they're ending up as caregivers while they're also parenting and working. And what can we do to support them physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially? It's incredibly taxing to be a caregiver of someone with Alzheimer's or any other kind of disease. And so corporate policy is trying to catch up to this changing demographic in our country.
What do you think corporations can do to support caregivers?
Well, they can amend their family leave policies to include caregivers. So people need time off, not just when they may be having a child, but when they may be having to take a parent to a doctor's appointment. Taking a parent to doctor's appointments when they're older, it takes a lot of time. It's a kind of long and winding path. So I think if companies are sensitive to the fact that a family leave policy isn't just when you have a baby, but it's really an extended over your lifetime. So that's one of the things we're trying to talk to human resource departments about. It's really hard to be emotionally, mentally, and physically well if you're caring 24 hours a day for someone with Alzheimer's, and you're also trying to work, and you're also trying to take care of your own kids. So I think having a conversation at corporate offices, having human resource departments involved, letting them understand what are the different challenges that their workers are going through, and amending their policies to actually match the reality of people's lives.
Do you think there's anything being done on a government level in California to support corporations?
Well, certainly there are many things being done on a government level. There are things being done on the corporate level, and there are things done on individual levels. So it's all different. If you read the big Shriver report that's said A Woman's Nation Takes on Alzheimer's, there are suggestions for corporate America. There are suggestions for government leaders. I've testified one of the big things we're trying to do in Washington is have increased funding, money to research why Alzheimer's is such a big issue, why it's so expensive, what are the different ways we can look for cures, because it has befuddled the nation's and the world's really top researchers. But there's a lot we can do to spell caregivers, to educate caregivers. We have a huge caregiving force in this country that needs to be educated. What is the difference between Alzheimer's versus Parkinson's versus stroke versus somebody who's a child who's disabled? So caregiving runs the gamut. Most of us will end up as a caregiver in some time in our lives. So educating task force, educating caregiving forces, and educating corporate America about the realities of caregiving is a huge thing that we advocate for and that is necessary in our country in 2018.
And what do you think young women today who are about to enter the workforce, the young women who are here at this event, what do you think they can do to help support organizations and corporations to support caregivers?
Well, I think young women have a huge role in monitoring and talking to their parents about their parents' cognitive health. I think this is a conversation we haven't had in this country about cognitive health. So young women, I know my children are hugely impactful to me in terms of what I eat, how I conduct my life, the people around me, the stress, my exercise, what drinks I'm drinking, what juices I'm drinking, all of that. I think young women can be leaders in how they themselves take care of their own emotional, physical, spiritual, and mental health. I'm really glad that we're now beginning a national conversation about mental health. That also, I think, leads into cognitive health for boomers. I think young women can be conscious of not only their physical health, but their own mental health, incorporating exercise, incorporating meditation, monitoring what they eat, creating sustainable lifestyles, starting businesses themselves that support women as they kind of go on and off the family ladder, so to speak. Women's career paths aren't as linear as men, so I think best thing that women can do is be caring and compassionate leaders, because that's what we really need.
Wonderful. Maria, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching.